G'day guys, Gavin from the Cartoon Company. I've just had a customer turn up and they've brought me a loom. We've had a couple of discussions over this loom in the past, and we've done a couple of deals on diagrams and sump swaps and bits and pieces. And he was referred on to me from another man in Whangarei that I did a wiring job many moons ago for. And we pretty much gave each other shit straight away. And he's decided, he's given in, and he's brought the loom to me because the young fellow who's been doing it, whilst intentions were good, hasn't really succeeded and the motor doesn't run. And we're probably going to have a couple of heated discussions today because there are definitely some disagreements between us, which is going to be interesting, but we both get on, even though this is the first time we've actually met today. So let's get this loom out. We'll say so. Hey, Steve, this is Steve, and this is Damien. Steve, what is this loom in?
This loom came out of a 1989 or 90 Toyota Crown Royal Gala saloon with the engine and all the associated bits and pieces, and it's going in 1980 AMC Spirit. So a very small sized 3-door American hatchback, about the size of a Honda Civic.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Scary fun.
And auto, isn't it?
Auto.
Get that loom out. Let's have a look at what we've got here. Let's get this on my head.
Okay, so
I have to unwrap it.
I'll unwrap it. Look, I'm good at unwrapping shit. That's what I do. I'm an unwrapper.
How did you get that sump so clean?
I just cleaned it.
Yes, okay, good. Do you have a vapor blaster? Do you have a chemical? What chemical did you use?
A buddy of mine is doing vapor blasting, and he's going to be doing the plenum and the rocker boxes.
Did he do the sumps?
No.
Oh, you just cleaned it because it was.
Hang on. Yes, he did.
That vapor. It was vapor blasted, eh?
Vapor blasted.
That because that was like shiny. Eat your food off it.
That's
it was.
the bugger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I had little tingly things around me. Yeah. I was tingling just looking at it. It was fantastic.
$120 an hour. He's already done a triple carb manifold for us for one of the V8s, and what a delight! What a delight! I tell you what.
Okay,
awesome.
Where's the ECU?
Hang on, I got one.
Airflow meter, good. As instructed. ECU.
ECU. Airflow meter.
89661 30431. I'll tell you right now, there's no immobilizer on that one.
Okay, good.
Okay, and I'll tell you another thing. There's no auto control on that. 100%.
It's good to hear.
We're going to have an argument over that, eh?
You're the expert.
There's all the wiring. Yep, they all come up. They come up to here.
Yep.
They all come up to there.
Yep.
They don't come up to there.
Right.
There's no auto. None of those plugs go into there.
Okay. So where do they go?
They go into here, then they go off to the auto ECU. Also, we're going to call it ECT. Okay, so yes, this wiring for the auto is in the loom,
Yep.
but it doesn't go to the computer because they had a separate one.
Bugger.
Okay.
You did say that from day one.
I've said it multiple times, and I'm saying it again. Okay, so I can make that work. So we can sort that.
Cool.
But
So I wonder where that was. That's obviously still in the car somewhere in Japan, and it's probably made a brand new Toyota somewhere by now.
yeah, crushed down.
Yeah.
And the wreckers, what they would do is they'd pull that out, and they wouldn't give us the ECT. The one I've got came from Australia, my mate Noz, and he sent me over for another job. Basically, we want a loom. What we want is we want a wiring loom that will run your car.
Yes.
That's the solution that we want.
That's what we
Okay?
want. That's what
So-
we need.
At the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter what we end up with. And did the young fella try and use some of the factory fuse box?
Yeah,
Where's-
last week we did. We started fucking around with this a little bit.
Because is there another plug
Yes.
for the ECU? Where's
Yes.
that one?
That one.
Oh no, that's this one here. There should be another one for the ECU itself for here. That's this one. That's that one. Oh, yep, you've been jumping powers in. Did you have another one that goes into the ECU? Nope. Nope. That one.
Sure will be here.
We've got that one. We've got that one. So that's cool.
That was
Oh, here it is.
igniters.
Here it is.
That's a bugger.
There it
That's
is.
a bugger.
Found it. It had found its way out.
Pass.
Extra. Might go into the fuse box.
Okay, well.
Because there should be one from here as well.
Oops, hang on, there's another smallie.
Oh, yeah. Because there should be one from here. From here
To
to
here
the
somewhere.
no, this one goes to the, I believe, just off the top of my head, that's got the extra wires that go to the ECT for the auto control. So that links in, so
Right.
they talk to each other.
Yep.
So it's got, okay, for the ECT to work, for a transmission to work, it needs a speed sensor.
Yep.
So on this one, that's your solenoid plug, 6-pin early solenoid plug.
Yep.
That's your shifter,
Yep.
selector switch, inhibit switch. That's a front speed sensor, and then it's got these funny rear speed sensors being crown,
Yep.
both 3-pin plugs, and they're a little bit funny in their signals, okay? So that's a little bit weird. And the ECT needs the primaries are speed and throttle position. Those are how you change where you, basically that's your load sensing, that's the main stuff. And then it gets water temperature and
Yep.
overdrive buttons and what gear selector you're in.
Water temperature.
Oh, and the other one, yep.
Yep.
All that stuff is in there, right? Okay, so that's what it needs. And that comes from, and that loom, up towards, and through the rest of the car, goes around the car, comes back to the ECT. Okay, so that's good.
Now this.
That's late model.
Yeah. Now
So
this
that's
is
late
stuff,
model.
This is stuff that Damo got me
I scored that out of a Alteza beams.
Yeah, it looks Alteza.
Yeah.
because this is the fuse box or something like that I'm going to have to use because this thing was broken, way too big, nowhere to put it. Nowhere under the hood, nowhere in the car. So we figured that we might have to see if we can do something. If we can, good. If we can't, no big thing.
What about
No big thing.
aftermarket one?
Whatever's going to work. Don't care.
What about
Yeah. Down to the shifter.
what about a couple of those?
Now, funny as fuck, I've got one of them. I've got a 10-pole, one of them that we're going to put in the car.
So something
So-
like that, baby.
All good, all good.
Well, come up with a solution. Okay, so
Yep, something like that'll work.
igniters.
Yep.
So basically, what you want me to give you back is something that will make this car work
Yes.
and go as good as you can.
Yes.
This airflow meter.
Yes.
Oh, it's had a nice bracket put on it.
Thank you. I made that.
Looks lovely. Just thinking outside the box here of options because I've got a box of hen's teeth. Okay? They're more common than these computers just about.
I figured that. Yep.
No. I could probably search around the farm and find some rocking horse shit. Easy. Oh no, I've actually got one of them. I do have one of them. Yes, I've got.
All good for hen's teeth.
I've actually got one of those upstairs, all wide, as a manual.
Shit, have you?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Now, I think you said that on the phone.
I've got
in
one.
Our first conversation.
Yep. So I've got one. No, they're a bit.
I have one now.
They're a bit of a pain in the ass. So one option I have is we do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a different airflow meter. It's the later model one.
Oh, yeah.
So I give you the appropriate bits.
Yeah.
I haven't decided whether that's a good idea yet. I've done it before. There are some differences. And the Mazda Udo just drove up as a mix match. It would mean sorting out, let's see, the rear speed sensors.
Yeah.
At the moment, if your rear speed sensors fail, you're screwed. You're never going to get any.
Is that right?
Yeah. We probably would. I'm pretty good at scratching stuff up because you've got a slip joint trans as well.
Yeah.
And that ECU is going to want speed sensor 1 and speed sensor 2, which normally they go from through the dash, they get modified.
Yeah.
So they come back and they do other stuff in the car. That one only needs one. So
Okay.
that sense it's easier.
Yeah.
And we could swap sort out the tail shaft on it. It could be mounting a different sensor on it. I can give you that. I've got that.
Yeah.
These ones take different injectors, but I've got a set. I've got all the bits to do it. And they run better and make more power. There is a difference with the compression of the early and the late motors. Yeah. And I wonder if I could, see they've got a different, across the back of the engine they're different, the back housing that runs across the, because they've got a different rear tail housing, the crossover pipe between the engines.
Yeah.
But I could possibly use your one. So I could possibly put a Gen 2 into there. It would get rid of this through the stenter.
Mm-hmm.
That's your cold start injector. You wouldn't need that.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to run 1 TPS. We're going to get rid of one of those.
Yep.
This
Yeah, I've
loom,
only got one. Yeah.
surprisingly, considering this is 89, 30 years old,
Yeah.
these injector plugs normally, well, that one's broken,
We did that.
but they're actually,
When
it's,
we actually pulled the injectors out to try and put a bit of gas through them and a bit of wind to just make sure they're cracking off. So that was actually fat-fisted. That was actually probably me.
that is surprising, eh? So from that point of view, and the igniters have been cut too, so they've been
Yeah,
joined.
well, they were the igniters that came from you, that we just matched up the best we could to what we had.
Yep. Okay. So you've just cut them. Yep. Okay. That's
So they're
that's
not
fine.
even really colour matched. One is and one's not.
And they are the right ones for you.
They
They
are
are
the
the right
right
ones.
were the right ones
They
because they were
definitely-
in your box of hen's teeth fucking horse shit stuff.
Oh, because they're the same as some other models, so they're okay. So some of the stuff, like airflow meters, they're getting a bit old and crappy.
Yeah.
So I see them fail a bit. You've got a whole lot of wires here, which go into another loom as well.
Oh yeah, there's like the rest of the
There's another loom on the car, which
Yeah.
is the start loom.
yeah.
So that's in there, and it's got oil pressure, because you've got the oil pressure down the side of the engine. Are you still running the factory oil pressure unit or not?
I'm running the same oil pressure switch, but no, I've actually got a front mounted.
Oh, okay. You've,
bypass.
did you have the factory one on it when you got the motor?
Yeah.
And you got factory logs on your one?
Factory logs.
The log manifolds. This is a...
No, I had to make the manifolds.
Oh, so you didn't have the factory logs?
No, shit though.
This is I've got a set of factory logs here. This is what a factory... See, this is a Crown motor. It's had a sump change. Yeah. But see, and I was in my box the other day. I found a dipstick.
Look at that.
I found the proper dipstick for a Crown that goes through the head. See, there's the...
Yeah.
So I had the proper one, but there's a set of logs. And what they did on the other side is they actually crushed it in this area to clear the steering box. But that's a set of factory Crown log manifolds.
Really? Fuck that.
Have you seen the factory oil pressure? Was the factory oil pressure unit on it as well when you got it?
Just
Along the side?
mounted on the side down there, and that's all done on Blake.
I'll show you.
And I've actually got.
That is a factory Crown oil filter housing,
Yeah, got one.
which I just happened to have lying around.
Just
It happened to
fucking,
be on the
you know,
roof of the Suzuki.
just
We were doing something else the other day and we wanted to compare it, okay? So that is what a Crown should look like.
See this coming, can't you?
You want to hit me, eh?
I want to hurt you so bad.
He needed to meet you over a year ago, eh?
When I started spending hour after hour after hour on 4 sets of headers,
Oh, you could have just put those on it.
couldn't fucking find any. Nobody had any. No one would sell me any.
I didn't say I'd sell you them, but I've got them.
There you go.
Oh, no, I'd probably sell them. I'd sell my mother if I had a chance. If I could get the right amount of money.
Mother sounds like a sweetie, mate.
Oh, they look good, though.
Oh, they are good.
They look good.
They are good. Trust me. They're excellent.
They actually look, that's quite lovely. That's going to work.
What a bloody
It's better than those, but they'd be really simple and easy to get it. But they look much better. Oh yeah, so you built a whole new sump?
No, I built the sump.
Yeah,
As well.
Built it, that's what I
Yeah.
said, yep.
So that's 35 mil from the flange to the top,
Yep.
or the bottom. Come back to 110. It's 65 mil. Then this drops over the cross member. Then all of a sudden we've got somewhere that we can actually catch oil. That's over 400 mil long. That holds 5.2 litres.
That's right, yep.
So it's all good. but that's
So a front sump, there's everything else is in the way.
Absolutely everything else
Everything's in the way.
Everything is in the way.
Yeah.
Everything that this car has just bald spot. Okay, it never used to be there. Tearing my hair out.
I'm just starting to go grey. We're getting there.
So yeah, so basically we've got like an LS7 bloody.
So you actually have to get in with your spanners to put all the bolts into it.
Yep.
Around underneath the wing at the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now somewhere else I have.
That's pretty amazing. Here we is cut off. Yep.
Yep. So all it's got is cotton reels
Yep.
in where that spacer is.
That looks like it was the steel version. And then you've put rubbers in it.
Yeah. Well, but they're all handmade as well. So they're all they're all cut and fitted. They actually wrap across the top of the cross member, and they've actually got a back on them as well. So they're fully welded all the way around. There's no way they are ever going.
But I mean, as far as that looks like it's just got a spacer in it at the moment. Not
It
the
has,
cotton reel.
yeah. But all that was just to set it up.
Yeah, same as us. Like this one. The one above you.
Yep.
It's on solid steel rubbers.
Yep.
Solid steel rubber. Yeah, there's nothing because you can't. If you weld it with rubber in there, rubber tends to burn.
And it smells
Yeah.
distasteful.
Yeah, I hate that. So what we do is we've got a set of bushes made up ready to go.
That's the clearance you've got.
Okay, so hence your
There is
35.
no
So you've got
clearance.
like 5mm.
You've got it.
The cert man will ask you. He will say, "Are those mounts? If anything happens, can it touch on the steering?" You're like, "No, it can't because there's a cross member in the way and there's 5mm, so it can't actually hit the steering." But they'll go, "You want to watch that?" Yeah.
I've already, that's all good. Yep. And I said, well, I can put a bar between them, but it's going to be a bar that's going to go in, and when it's passed, it's going to come back out.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work.
Well, it's at the end of the day, if it can't fall further, it can't hit the steering. We're fine.
It's got that far, bang, it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
and it
all
hits the
over.
cross member.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple. Right. So two. They weren't very common, those things?
No, there's now 4 in Australasia. The other 3 are still the 258 6-cylinder. This will be the only one like it in the world, basically.
Well, I'm always a little bit reluctant to say it. Now,
That's the cross member,
Yep. So the gearbox.
my cross member.
I want to know about that rear speed sensor.
Okay, that's us. Up in there. In there.
It's not going to be too hard to get that tail shaft off if we go that way.
No, well, it's easy enough to drop the whole mount and just basically prop this up somewhere and access is
modify it.
access is not too.
Because you also said you want it under the manifold, if you can.
Yeah.
So you want to make my life real tricky.
Yes, thanks. Well, it depends on how much money you're going to charge me because I'm,
Well, yeah,
I'm only a
that's-
poor drive engineer. I have no money.
We've
I
got-
have a daughter,
You want? So you've got to.
and he
bring
drinks
me into
piss,
this,
lots and lots.
So you kind of suggested under the manifold, but it is going to be pricey to get it all under there. The other one that you saw, that Avenger,
Yeah.
was really easy to put it under the manifold because it had individual throttle bodies.
Correct.
So you could actually just reach. It's like the Lancer
Yes.
we've done, and so that makes it really easy. I'm about to
If it
do.
can't be done, it can't be done.
Well, I'm about to do another one for a drift car. It looks good in there. Yeah. So I'm about to do one for a drift car, and it's going to be underneath. Oh, looking very, very lovely. So it's going to be under the manifolds. So we're going to have to lift it up.
We are listening.
We'll put strings through to pull all the wiring up for the injectors. But he is going to be going individual throttle bodies. So I'm wiring it now
Yeah, yep.
for individual throttle bodies.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the
Wow.
intentions of doing it.
Yeah, so he's putting a drift car, but it's going to be into a firewall plug on that one.
Yeah, firewall plug sounds like a good idea too, just to make life easier. But it depends entirely
But
once again.
it comes
on-
down to what you're trying to achieve
Yeah.
for this job. So normally for a road car, I stick with trying to not modify the shit out of the loom as much as I can.
Yep.
Leave it as the loom as standard as I can.
Yep.
Okay. I try to match them to the right engine.
Yep.
So I'm
Yeah. To
And-
try and keep it all.
because that's what works with it. But on this one,
That's my log headers.
yep.
3 different size pipes, equal length runners, and in a perfect world, like on a Hilux or something like that, awesome, so much clearance. If I could have used that on the right hand side, which I could, no worries at all. The left hand side of the engine didn't work simply because I've got steering shaft,
Yeah.
steering box, engine mount.
Yeah.
So much in all, as they are a thing of beauty,
Yeah.
that didn't work.
Yeah. That's your. Yeah. Yeah. So
There's just no room.
what we need to turn out a vehicle that's going to work, it's going to run, start, have an engine that starts. That'd be pretty,
Good start.
That'd be good for you.
We
wouldn't
like
it?
that. Even if we've never went anywhere, we could start and go listen to this.
So I've got to come up with a plan. So I've got a whole lot of bits here now.
Yep.
Don't look too overwhelmed.
I'm gonna scratch my head for a couple of days on coming up with a solution. But as you can see, I've got spares.
Yes.
I've got a lot of spares. So either I could stick with your airflow meter and do an early model loom. I could try and fix this and decipher what's been done, check everything. And this loom's in okay condition, but like some of the plugs are early, so I work with that. Or my preference in this job, if I had to talk to you a year ago, I would have said, let's go with the 20 series straight away while it's on the ground. Let's set it up on the 20 series. Let's change that tail shaft, swap the injectors, make it all, and we'll start with that and run it up. So that would have been, a year ago would have been my preference. But we're already part way into it. So we've got to make a decision whether I go, hey, let me take one of my 20 series looms, give it a clean up, give it a tidy up, put some braid in it, keep it in the same place, but make it braid so it's easy to work on.
Yep.
Change that rear speed sensor. I give you a set of injectors, airflow meter, all the bits. We do a swap around and sort out and make it right.
Yep.
So that's kind of my tendency. Is there possibilities for problems? Yes, rear speed sensors are a pain in the ass, but apart from that, it's actually pretty good.
It's the old KISS, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. And the easier you can make it for me, the more beer you and I will drink.
Yeah. And well, I don't drink, but you can drink
He'll
my
drink
beer.
it for you.
I'll drink.
Damien
it
can
for you,
drink it for me.
Yeah.
So we need to work out what's going to give us the best result for the most appropriate amount of money.
Yeah.
And I've got to think that we're working with 30-year-old gear. If shit happens and you can't find, and I decide, no, I'm just had enough of one UZ, and I burn and I get the digger out and I dig a big hole and I put all that shit into a hole, and you have to try and find another computer. It's like, where do I find one?
Yep.
So whereas a 20 series, we can at least go, yep, cool, we can get one. Because
And that's the next, is that the sort of the pre-VVTI, but the next series
Yes,
up between mine and the 4x4s?
yeah, okay, so yes.
Did you get away with your other one?
Yeah, so what you've got is you've got crown.
Yep.
131 crown, which is this one, okay?
That's it.
Then you go to, and they're sort of out on their own. Then you go to the Celsia, and the Sora ran concurrently at the same time, and there's a Ristos, and there's a 141 crown after yours. So the 141 crown runs and I've got to do a video, a wide ECU. That one's got a 141, similar to the Sora, similar pin out, but wider in the ECU. And the Celsia ran one that's similar to yours, 2 rows of wires. And then partway through, about 92, they changed to like the same header as the Gen 2, but they kept with the same airflow meter as yours, and they changed the solenoids on the transmission, which your solenoids are different. Yours is the 6 pin. That one runs an 8 pin. I don't have an 8 pin loom, but I can just put a resistor in for the temp sensor for the trans.
Okay.
So no biggie. And then 95-ish, Celsia changed to sequential, different airflow meter, different computer pinout, and they ran that to about 97. Sora, some of those were still running the early model motor, and then the Sora changed to like a computer like the 92 to 94 Celsia, with the early model with the non-sequential airflow meter, the alloy body. And then we went VVTI, which we had a crown, which is a very similar pinout but no multiplex. And then we had a 3UZ come out with a completely different ECU, different pinout, different plugs, but we still had a 1UZ VVTI running in the crowns with a different pinout to the Celsia, but the same ECU.
That's why we haven't been able to find
And a different loom. And a different loom that comes off the front of the engine. So we've got all these different things happening, and then what happens is guys mix and match like the one I've got out there, or the right knowledge. And Toyota said, there's an ECT in that one. Toyota don't know what they're talking about. straight up. And I'll show you. I'll put it on easy as. And unfortunately, yeah, finding bits for the older stuff's getting harder and harder. I've got a plan. I'll just have a bit of a think about it. I'll have us rummage around of what bits I've got and whether we can put together something. And I'm still tending that way because it'll be newer and better. We can I can make a loom, and what I'll do is it'll be cloth tape. So it's like this. Not Chinese. So a cloth tape with braid on the extensions out to the injector plugs. New injector plug, basically all new plugs on the loom. And then if I'm clever, I'm kind of thinking maybe, we'll see, it could change. If I use that crossover pipe, crossover wiring, slightly modified because we don't have the bit going through the centre. The idle speed comes over here, comes out of there. We don't have the cold start.
Okay.
What temp gauge have you got on the vehicle?
So it just has the standard.
Okay,
Standard
single wire.
Single wire.
So that could go in the factory place. The temp gauge could go in the factory place.
In actual fact, that has done because I have actually used at this stage the original temperature wire from the gauge into the sender on the radiator. So it's coming from the bottom of the radiator to the gauge.
So it doesn't come through the engine?
It doesn't come through the engine.
Okay. That's cool. I can work with that. So I don't actually need to worry about that.
But if there's a better way of doing it.
No, if that works.
Well, we don't know whether it works or not.
It's only a single wire?
Single wire.
Single wire. So, okay, if I leave that single wire, if I leave a wire in the loom, we're good. Oil pressure. You've moved it.
I have.
Does it go through the engine loom or does it go somewhere else? So it's still in here? Because it comes up through this plug. Comes through this plug.
I know 2 sensor. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That was it. That's your left-hand O2 sensor that I extended and modified because I've got a single wire. Just a multi-user O2 sensor. That was oil pressure off the side of the engine, and all I've done is I have moved that switch to the front of the engine.
Yeah, and you've got a little extension.
And I've extended from there to there. So that should work also.
Because what I often do is I often drop it down the front of the engine. But that's okay, we can work with that.
Well, this just comes along the side and basically drops over.
Yeah, we can work with that. Yeah. And I've got over here, this will have a 2-wire down the front because it had a viscous fan on it. It didn't have a hydraulic fan.
Christ knows.
Yep, so it's got a 2-pin plug here.
Yep.
I could change that to the 4-pin and it'll just plug into your front loom. Your front loom's in good order? The crank loom?
We assume so.
Okay, so I can do that.
We've got a 16-inch fan.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the big plastic fans, semi-shrouded.
Yep.
And it's got a 180-degree switch? No, 190-degree switch.
So you've got a switch elsewhere?
I've got a switch in the bottom of the radiator, in the bottom tank. Yet to be wired. So we have no activity whatsoever.
Okay, so I could run a wire in my standard loom. I run out a temperature, a pair of wires for a temp switch. And then they have to go down. I normally put them on the top of the radiator. So I run a pair of wires in there and I put a relay in it, and then there's an output and you have to connect that to your fan. What I was meaning about this is some of them have, on the front of the engine, have a hydraulic fan. So what they've got, just happen to have one, they have this unit. So you've got a viscous fan, being an early...
Yeah, so we have effectively...
So they have this unit and it's run, I've got to do a video, and they have this like fan pump on them. Your one, being early Crown, had a fan idler. I've got a couple and I've got a brand new one because they're the same as the LS 400s. Yeah, well, see, it's been stripped out on this one.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that a lot of people get confused about. They think it's an oil pump for the engine. So you've got a bearing unit.
We just got a pulley.
Yeah, I've got one of them. Yeah, I've got the same units.
There is nothing viscous about it.
Well, it had a viscous fan here. It's gone.
Yeah, gone.
You've just got the
There's a pulley, and then basically the AC that was here is gone. So all we've done is we've changed the routing of the belt.
Up through here.
Yep.
Around here.
Around there, and carrying on.
Yep, got it. Understand. Easy, easy, easy. Modifications of the engine. Are we keeping that engine standard?
The car weighs about that much.
I'm not sure you should be close to me with a razor blade. I've
tell
had
you
some
what.
threats today.
Yes.
There's been some threats, man.
Watch it, boy. So the car, like I said, it's about the size of a Honda Civic hatchback. It doesn't weigh a lot. The engine, as I understand it, is around about 260 horsepower as it sits. That's adequate.
That's rated.
Yeah.
There was still a gentleman's agreement back then. 206 kilowatts. What's that work out in horsepower? It's around about the horsepower we're talking, because there was a gentleman's agreement. They didn't want to pay extra tax. So everything in that era was rated at 206, or that 200 kilowatts. Right, cool. Okay, so no, standard computer's going to do the job.
Yep.
You love making brackets, so if that bracket had to be remade, you wouldn't care. I'm going through the firewall. What do you presently have? Because it is beautiful. Oh.
And look from the other side.
I know, it's folded, it's gorgeous.
I know. It's not just saying to me.
You have nothing going through the firewall at present.
We had this going through the firewall. All of it.
Yep.
Every scrap of it.
What about the one going to the computer? No, this bit.
That went through the firewall.
Oh, so all that went through the firewall.
All that went through the firewall.
So a 20 series rubber bung, like that one, that's a 20 series loom as well. So that's the loom that's going in this Hilux. That's a big rubber bung.
Okay, the hole that it comes through is actually a factory hole. It is.
We can make holes bigger.
Not with the engine in there, and not the way we can't get out. Oh,
So you can make things smaller.
could I get out from underneath? And
Well, the other option with a big bung like that is we cut it, you cut it off, and you get another grommet and you put it around it and you glue it back together to get it through.
you got here? That.
It's like an air conditioning hole.
Except it was
Where's the
blank.
engine?
The engine is right here.
So it like squeezes in behind the engine
Yes.
through a hole that big.
Yes.
You like stressing me out, eh?
Ask me how many times if someone had walked past a shed with $20 in their hand and said, "I'll give you $20," I would have delivered the car. They could have had the car and the engine and the other engine.
I've got $20.
Too late, she cried. The number of times my wife gave up coming down to the shed, which was quite blissful because it meant I could drink more piss at the same time. But she just, the language, and she kept reminding me that we have neighbours on both sides. And one of the neighbours has small children. And many times I was actually told in no uncertain terms that I really, really needed to, one, shut the door, and two, shut up.
Okay, so I've got another little issue then, because this has got very small plugs on it. A 20 series ECU plug is a little bit bigger.
If we can feed them in on an angle.
Yeah, because us shorties can't get it. You got it yet? Yep, that's good.
Look at that, what a guy.
So this
It
loom,
just cost me more beer.
it will fit.
Piece of piss.
I believe so.
It will fit.
Well, we got
All that.
all that through.
Yeah, mate, you got all that through, so you did all okay.
You know,
You got all that
and,
through.
and we fought.
So
So we won because
we-
it doesn't have a brain, and we do.
We slice that off.
Yep.
We slice that rubber off. You run it through. You sort of grom it out.
And I'll sort of grommet out.
That's easy. And you can do the split rubber, flat rubber,
What I
whatever.
will probably do is I will be a clever little engineer, and I will make something in two pieces with a couple of big holes. And I'll fasten it, and I will fasten it, and I will put something in there.
Yep, cool. So that's a possibility. The only thing we have to sort is that rear speed sensor.
Yep. Yep.
So I think what I want you to do is go pull the rear of your box off.
Okay.
I want you to slip the rear tail shaft off your box.
Yep.
I'm going to...
So I've got the last section of the transmission. There's 4 or 5 bolts.
Yep,
So you want that with the 2 switches.
yep. And I want photos of what's inside, and I want you to... You'll take the slip joint off, and there's like a trigger wheel in there.
Mm-hmm.
I want that stuff.
Okay.
Just send me some photos to start with. You're an engineer. I'll send you bits and I'll say, fix this problem. Make it like this. I want you to confirm that that's all going to work. And then I'm pretty much set on that way.
All right.
Okay?
I am also going to have a challenge by virtue of the fact that the speedometer is analog. And
Oh, fuck. You want me to solve that problem too?
well, come on! We've driven a long way. The sun is still up just.
Okay, we can solve that problem too. Even easy. And I'm glad you told me that now, because what we're doing. Okay, so speedo. That's fantastic. So what we've got is that one only needs one speed sensor. This one needs two. You're going to have two holes.
Thanks so much. Which do I wipe first?
So, no. So basically, what we're going to modify is what we're going to attempt to do here. We're going to is and it's been a while since I've done one. It's been a long time since I've done this, but we're going to make the front one. I want to get 4 pulses per revolution. So every time that fucking output shaft tunes, I want 4 pulses in an AC output going to my computer. Okay, easy. I want 4, and leaves your back one, which is a gear-driven drive.
Correct.
So I'm going to go get my little box that's been sitting around the workshop, and it's the last man with the Triumph turns up, and I'm go get my little box, and then another man turns up, and we'll go see if we've got a speedo drive for you.
Now I have a brand new cable that I bought for the car, which goes through the head for the needle.
Yes.
Okay. Problem is, it is a square drive, and the drive in the Toyota transmission is a pedal.
Get my box first.
I took the speedo to Robinson's, and we had a couple of problems with a couple of pins and bits and pieces. And I got it checked, and I got some pins replaced, and then I got the car going with the original engine, and then I went out and I did well and truly in excess of 80 mile an hour on more than one occasion, and the speedo needle came round and I hit the stop, and it did that a few times, and then it actually knocked the odometer like that, and then the speedo swung back to 55 miles per hour, which is perfectly adequate because in America you're not allowed to go any faster. So if I had it back in the States, I'd be sweet, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't tick, it doesn't turn over, it does nothing. So I've got to rebuild the speedo. Anyway. Ta-da. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Okay. Options.
Let's get it going first.
Options. You make it run first. No, but if you can solve these problems, do it. So when I have guys use the normal transmission with not the slip joint on it, we put the yoke, or we put the bolt-on flange kind up it.
Yeah.
What I do is if I get a 20 series, I normally get a 20 series engine. We then put the early model rear housing on the transmission, which has got 2 holes, not 1 hole, because the late ones have got 1 hole and the back one isn't set up. So we put the early model transmission thing on it, and then we put just a normal drive up it.
Yep.
Or we put a cable drive in it. And guess what? It doesn't affect the engine in any way. However, yours is so your one is tricky because it's a crown slip joint one.
And I've already rebuilt the drive shaft and painted it, and it looks gorgeous.
I know, so we're going to work with that.
So pretty.
I'm not going to. I'm aware of that, and that's why I'm not recommending we just go buy another motor and swap everything over. I'm changing a wiring loom and giving you all the right bits.
I had the option of buying a 92 Sora for $1,800 running. It had done 300,000 Ks, little island boy or Maori boy up in Dargaville, and I'd already committed off my buddy with this UZ, and I went running Sora, all the shit, yeah, driving home, said to Jeff I'd buy it, running Sora all a bit, said to Jeff I'd buy it, I've known him 40 years, I better buy it.
Morals suck
Sorry,
sometimes,
Jeff,
eh?
wish to Christ I hadn't, mate.
But yeah, and okay, yeah, basically, and that would have been the option. So we've got. Is there any way you can get an electronic speedo grafted into your analog speedo? Can Robinsons do that?
Possibly can, yeah. I've got
So
a
if
buddy
you-
who's got a mate who works upstairs, he's got a speedo, Steve Speedo Repairs or something, and I can actually pull the whole cluster out, and I can pull the back out of it, which will pull the speedo out of the cluster, and then it can have some form of diode or
Put a unit like this
yeah.
in behind and run another needle. That's a taco, of course, but to run a unit like that out of something else mounted in with your faces on it.
Yeah.
So if you can do that,
I'm suggesting it's a possibility. It's going to need recalibrating.
we can then put. We know we can then put an if we put an electronic one in it, I can at least put a converter box in.
Yeah.
So I can modify the signal. So we're good.
Now,
No,
shifter.
Oh,
I have an Altezza
wicked.
auto with snow and whatever the buggery it is.
A 4-speed Altezza or a 5-speed Altezza? 4-speed Altezza. Man, those fingers are bent, hey? How many times have you crushed those fingers? Because that is some scary ass shit.
Dude, don't mess with me, okay?
Yeah.
Don't mess with me.
It's like, Madam Matter's just over there. Bloody Hobbiton. Fingers like that.
Hey, come on, guy. You're the right height as well. We don't need
It's really
to
funny,
get
eh?
through those doorways.
I know.
Hey, you, me, and Bilbo, buddy.
See, we could have a car on the hoist. We're working it out just fine. And Damien's worried about hitting his head. You think I'm fine?
Yeah, no. We've had mishaps in race cars and things, and we've done a lot of dumb shit in our time.
We were talking about something else a minute ago until you
We were
distracted
talking
me.
about an Altezza shifter.
Oh yes, good, easy. That'll work. And the levers will be right. Don't go fucking with the levers, because they're the same.
Stand by.
Oh, did you bring it?
And this is the loom that I cut off another one.
Ah, yep.
Was, so
Understand?
now the pieces are falling together.
Yeah, man.
Right, so this little fucker goes on the transmission,
Yeah. So that's your rod on the trans.
and this one must assume goes on the bottom. It looks like it should go
Correct.
that way. Okay, on my transmission, this is standing. Oh, we can do it like that.
Do we want a transmission? Shall we go over to a transmission that we have prepared earlier?
When we prepared earlier.
We happen to have a transmission, which is about to be a bit of a showpiece because it's getting converted to four-wheel drive.
Yeah, but he's missing with the
It doesn't have it, so your one comes up here like this,
Yes.
and the shift selector goes behind it.
Well, it's going to have to go like that.
So, okay, use that.
Hang on. Now, no, it is. No, that's the bit that goes on there. It's going to have to go.
Long as that goes up, are you want
It's going to have to go. Bugger it. It's going to have to go that way.
correct?
So that's all right because look at that. We just unbolt that
Okay.
from there and we tip it up the other way.
No,
so
okay.
that'll work.
We're all okay then. We're all okay.
We're good.
Right.
We're good.
With the shifter, and the best way, okay, is to not to stuff with the levers. So keep the little rod that comes off here.
Yep.
Keep that the same distance.
Yes.
And off your Altezza, because it's the same box and the same.
Yeah.
The lever is fine.
Yeah.
The rod between it, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Because it's just transferring the motion between the two
Yeah.
levers.
So as long as we've got the same
change.
arcs, we're good, eh?
Yeah, so the lever arc is correct,
Yeah.
and that arc is correct, and it should work. And when you've got it in position, put it in, move it through each one, and have have it so you can just slip the pin in and out of the rod. You slip it in and out, so it's not loaded at all. So this one will sit on every single place.
Yep.
Real simple.
What it's going to mean is I'm going to have to work out where it's going to go because I'm either going to wind up with the shifter way up there or
Yeah.
way back here. And the seats are only that far apart.
Cut that rod.
And the shifter, I'll short the rod. The shifter, the body of the shifter, the little chrome piece on top with the 120 NRP
Yep.
is about that diameter.
Here's the plan. What I want is I want your tail shaft off.
Yep.
I want some photos of it. I might get you to send it down to me. Not of that. I don't want any photos of that. We're not what is it called? That's called
Voyeurs,
No, it's
perverts, pedophiles.
nutscaping.
Nutscaping. Oh,
That's a thing.
is it?
Yeah. Nutscaping, it's a real thing.
Guys take photos of their nuts and put them on.
No, so what you've got to do is
You're a sick fuck, you do that.
you've got to find a really gorgeous setting. and take a photo with your testicles hanging down at the top of the photo, and then you post it on social media.
So like between your legs, you know, coming down the mountain Wanganui and the in between
So
your
dude,
legs,
Yeah.
nuts there.
if I stood
You
on,
got it.
If I stood on a ladder,
yeah.
if I stood on a ladder on the roof of my car,
Yeah.
I could get my ball bag hanging down across in front of those trees.
Yeah.
The cows.
Got it.
Oh, we might do that.
That's it. Okay, that's a new thing. So that's the plan. I think at the moment, pull that tail shaft off.
Yep.
We'll look at that.
Yep.
That's kind of where I'm heading.
Yep.
And I'll turn you something that will start and run the engine
Yep.
and go good. And I'll give you all the bits to make it work.
Yep. Yep.
And I'll scare the shit out of you on price. Well, I'm going to want you to modify your throttle body, and it's going to look like this one over here. What have you done with your intake? Going down to your airflow meter, what have you got? What's in here? Have you got a nice little tube and you've got another hose going across to there?
Yeah. So we've got a tube, a hose,
And an airflow meter.
and an airflow meter.
It's nothing for you to put a different fitting on there, eh? Because the airflow meter is different.
No.
And if you wanted to check, so you don't have to put it on here. If you've got a tube running across here, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. All it is, it's just a what's that about a 15? Nah. Yeah, 5/8.
Correct. For this
Rubber
one,
hose.
because the Gen 1 runs a different size hose to the Gen 2s. Would you believe it?
Yeah. No, I do.
So that's fine. But that TPS, we're not going to be using it.
Mm-hmm.
So either you take it off and buzz it up with your welder, and you take the traction control motor off the back,
Yep.
and buzz up the hole,
Yeah.
or you push a frost plug in the back. The back one is a frost plug, or you build a little fitting to push it in there, and you keep with your intake. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I want that done. I want you to put bearings in your stepper motor. I know it's only done 34,000 Ks.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, this is a lap. This is not a.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be showing you that one. It looks like this. But it's not this one.
Yes, it
So
does.
it's closer to this.
Yes, it does.
But it's got 3 screws around it. Yes, your one's got 3 screws around it.
But yeah, that's. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This water hose.
Yeah. Well,
Yep. Have you got that water hose on there?
yeah.
I want you to take that off, and I want you to buzz that up. Okay. And I want you to take the water hose that runs to this off. The one that runs along here onto the bottom of the throttle body. I want you to take it off.
Oh, that's for all. Yeah.
Okay. And see at the back here. See this little rubber grommet? This little rubbery bit.
Oh, yeah.
That is located on the side of your stepper motor, on here. Use that to blank that off. So I want those water lines gone.
Okay.
But
You have to write all this down.
I will. I will give you a little list of things. I'll write it all down for you. Okay.
And that just, mine, that just sits.
Oh, that's lovely. All right, where are your igniters actually mounted?
Wherever I was going to put them.
You haven't got a place for them yet. Okay. So as long as they're on the loom, you'll find a spot. Because being engineer, you'll just make shit work.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. This loom I can make work, so I can use that loom is in good order. Oil pressure is over there, so that's fine.
Your oil pressure was there. Oil pressure was
Yeah, back in here.
in here.
And it's more
it
like
is now basically on a block right there.
cool,
Right there.
easy. So
Because the filter, we've got 2 -12 hoses through, and the filter now sits up under the left front fender.
okay, so either I run a wire along here like you've done, or I'll drop a wire here that you put a plug in, and I'll give you a length of wire, and you'll have to put a terminal on it and put it on there, and I'll mark it. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay. Injectors. Have you done some injector seals?
No.
34,000 Ks, 30 years old. Are they going to be good or not? I don't know.
I
That-
would expect that it would really need the seals to be replaced. I mean, as a matter of course, you would do it anyway, wouldn't you?
Okay. I'll give you a frost plug to go in the cold start injector. I'll put a bolt to go into the intake and into the fuel rail because I've got them here, and you'll just have to cut it down and put it in. Easy. You will have a spare sensor in the front you won't be using if we go this way. Okay. You will have a cold start injector timer under here, a brown one that you won't use.
Yeah.
Okay. You just won't use it. It'll just go.
Just
That'll
leave
go.
it in there?
Just leave it in there. I'd prefer to take them out. I'd prefer to take them out and blank them off because I just don't like that shit going along for the ride.
I've got a water temperature sensor or something in here.
Yeah, that's right. That's your cold start timer.
Is that what it is?
This one here. I think I might have overwhelmed you with knowledge in this little short amount of time, eh? That fella is your cold start timer. That one doesn't have a crossover. That one there. So that's your cold start timer.
Okay.
So what it does is when it's cold enough, it's a switch. It's just an on-off switch.
Yep.
So when you crank it, start signal goes through it. It feeds power up to the cold start injector, and it fires the cold start.
Yep.
And the ECU does the negative, and that supplies the positive.
Yep.
That's pretty easy too. Okay. This is what your stepper motor looks like. See, it's got the 3 screws.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can flick it apart. It doesn't take much to flick apart. And you see it's got the smaller pipe going into it.
That's our throttle body.
That's your throttle body.
Yep.
Well, that's actually,
And that's
because
our
that's a
fucking-
crown
And that goes into the side of the throttle body.
and the intake pipe.
The intake pipe, rather.
Yeah, well, see, as you can see, I put the fitting into there just to make it a bit tidier and give you more access to manifold or to intake.
Yep.
But take it apart, just check it. At least check the bearings are good. It's real easy. The only extra thing, you've got a little springy washer in there. The rest of it just comes apart. Check the seals are good. So I want to know that there's no air leaks in this engine. Okay, I don't. And at 34,000 Ks, it should be pretty good. But how long has it been sitting for? Came out of Japan. The guy got it out of Japan. Yeah, unknown. There's a chance it's been sitting for a lot longer. It'll still run fine. It'll be mint.
Oh, it turns out it was gold.
It'll be an absolute honey. It'll be an absolute honey.
Runs good on ether.
Oh, good. You actually managed to get it to go on ether?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you've got it. There was enough spark to run. There was enough out of that ECU to make sparks.
Yeah.
But,
The minute we stopped spraying ether, it stopped running.
cool. Well, you got close. That's good. That's good. That's positive. Okay. That's good. That's a really good thing.
It is in the system.
Okay. So to answer your question of does it need a temperature sensor in the trans, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay. This setup here, out of the crown, there is no temperature sensor in the box.
Okay.
It relied on the engine temperature to get up. So it relied on the engine ECU to supply a signal to the crown ECU to say yes, we're at temperature before it got overdrive.
Right.
This was really common in the early Toyotas, and if they didn't get up to temperature, they wouldn't get overdrive. I spent years tuning cars, and people would come in with their Coronas, their like the late 80s, early 90s Coronas going, I get in my car, and it's only got 3 gears, and it was a pain in the ass when they were on the open road, farmer, down the 100-metre driveway onto the open road, because they could get to 100 Ks before you got overdrive. Around town, most people didn't even know it. Or they'd have a crook thermostat, and it'd be fine around town. They'd get on the open road, they'd lose a gear. They'd be using it in the cold mornings. So yes, it has, but it's in the ECU to the ECT. The later one has one in the transmission. So they changed, when they changed this plug here, that I talked about, that 6-pin to an 8-pin, they put the temperature sensor in there. So often I change that loom if I've got them, but I'm getting short of those looms. So I put a resistor in the line. So you'll have overdrive all the time. And you can work this out that you don't thrash the shit out of your car when it's dead cold. You use it.
Because that would mean, instead of that great big bloody conglomeration I've got with that hockey stick fucking cooler, we can actually just run away with that bend, and I can actually come straight out of the engine into the radiator, and I can set up a separate individual cooler like this for the automatic transmission.
That one's actually that's a passed air cooler on this one. But same setup. You can run an individual transmission cooler, no need for any temperature sensors in it. I don't need it. Okay? I don't need it to make my stuff work.
Good.
And when I'm helping you out,
much nicer.
I will actually be helpful when you ring me, which I've actually been pretty helpful. Thanks to Zane.
He's a good bastard, eh?
Yeah, because if you hadn't have said that, well, I do get pretty excited. There's actually a box over here that arrived the other day. This guy's, I'm sitting on my computer working away, and about 9 o'clock at night, an email comes through, and I'm like, it had something like 1UZMF35. Like, some sort of code maybe, some sort of code. Do you know what an MF35 is? A Massey Ferguson tractor.
Yeah.
With a 1UZ and an auto in it. Yeah, like I got all twitchy, but there was like
This was from Zane.
No, this is from Zane. This is
Okay.
another customer, and I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night. I shouldn't be replying to emails at 9 o'clock at night, but that really sparked my interest. So it's like, hell yes. So I got in there. That's the sort of stuff that I see, and so this sort of stuff that's odd and the challenge, I like it. And you know why I like it? Because other pricks can't do it. Those are the other normal ones. But when you find shit like this that you've been struggling with it for ages and you haven't found the right information, and I'll come and I'm pretty straight up, as you did threaten to stab me, and I knew you were going to threaten to stab me.
Yeah.
We're okay with. I was willing to take that risk.
Because I do that a lot.
You stab people.
No, I threaten.
Oh, that's right. So
I haven't stabbed anyone, so far since, yesterday.
So anyway, so I do that. I'm interested because there's the challenge in it. So that's where I get off on that stuff, you know. Doing the everyday looms, they're like boring. Oh, something a bit weird. So this is going to be a stuff around. It's a challenge for us, but we'll make it work.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the goal.
You make it work, and I'll find the money.
We're good.